Welcome back. Joining us, the founder and principal of the employment law firm Transition Strategies, LLC, and author of How to Negotiate a Killer Job Offer, Robin Bond. Robin, thanks. It's great to see you again.
Great to see you, Gail.
So, any initial comments on what it is you've heard so far?
Some people are really bad.
Yeah.
They make the workplace very toxic, and we all have to be armed and prepared to, take care of ourselves against these situations, really.
Absolutely. So what is the worst type of bad boss that you see out there?
Well, I think there's a lot of narcissists out there, the people that really only care about themselves.
Yeah, but aren't all bosses narcissists?
Well, aren't we all narcissists, really?
Except for my boss. But, but really, it's always about, they have something to take up to a higher level.
It's not about me. Well, actually, those are sometimes the easiest people, because here's what, if you understand that it's all about them, you can manipulate that very easily. And so if you understand you're working for somebody who doesn't care about anybody or anything but themselves, you can work that. And anytime you want something, you just show them that.
That's exactly right. All right, so I've got a couple bosses for you that we want feedback from everybody on these, okay? And I'm sorry about that. I hate to have to hit that buzzer, but...
Sorry. No apologies. No apologies.
All right, boss takes credit for your project or your work. What do you do in a situation like that?
You're like Fabulous Fab, right? All the poor guys in the stock market who did what their bosses told them to do, and now they're going to jail or something. It's a slippery slope. You start down that path. I say, boy, you just smile nicely and say, yeah, okay, let me think about that. I'll get right back to you. Tell me what you want. Show me what you need me to do. Then you get on the phone, you call somebody and say, hey, here's what my boss is telling me to do. What should I do? Get some legal consult before you get down that path. Once you take the first step, you may not be able to come back from that.
Sydney, give us your thoughts.
Well, I thought that your solution was really gossip. You want to gossip on the phone about how your boss is being a jerk. What you should do in a situation like this is start being really terrible at all of your projects. Mm-hmm. And then that way you'll eventually get fired for being a terrible worker, and you won't have to deal with that boss anymore.
I would do something along that line. I would actually get my boss very comfortable with my work, so they even stop proofreading it, and then I would slowly slip in really derogatory comments about his boss. So when he hands in his next assignment, he gets fired.
There you go. And I say, just say thank you and add it to your resume. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
resume.
resume.
Thank you, resume. All right, boss steals and blames you. Robin, thoughts?
Oh, the boss steals and blames you. Yeah, that's great. Well, that's really a terrible thing if the boss does steal and blame you. And I can't, what are you supposed to do with that? You turn around and you say, hey, I don't like to let them get away with that. I think you should stand up for yourself and confront them if they do that. I really do.
That's a good point to set them up.
You should confront them.
Set them up.
You can't let a boss get away with that, especially if you stay on the job. Like if you get blamed for stealing and get fired, that's one thing, you take legal action. Yeah. But if you get blamed for stealing and you're still at the job, you need to ask for at least 25%, because now you're an accomplice and an accessory to crime, so you need to be benefiting from that.
That's very true. I think it's important in that situation that you fight fire with fire. And by which I mean you set their car on fire.
Set their car on fire.
Yeah, or that's what I would do.
Start stealing.
If we're going to do illegal things, let's just kick it up a notch.
Can't we just set them up, though? Find out what they steal, set them up, blame and get rid of them? Take them out?
Yeah, or take this opportunity to start stealing yourself. You could use a chair in your home. Like,
and then blame him, because he's doing it.
Well, there's a lot of electronic surveillance in the workplace today, so maybe you really could. You could put one of those keystroke monitoring things on their computer if they're doing it that way.
All right, the boss badgers you. What do you do?
Boss badgers you, that's like a bully. Boy, if half of the workplace is bullied, and if you're a woman, you're one of 80% of the bullied, 80% of people who are bullied are women. There's a lot of things you got to do.
I know. They're women. Did you guys hear that?
I did.
Mm-hmm. I know they're going, they're women. I dated them.
But here's the thing, too. They say more than half of the bullies are women themselves. So that's one of the bad things. We, gals are not necessarily nice to each other. Here's what you got to do. You got to, keep a log. Who's doing what to you and who's witnessing it. Find out what policies there are. Is this illegal? Because a lot of times bullying isn't even illegal. So, but before you make a claim and think HR is your friend, because HR is really rarely your friend, I'd say see a lawyer and say, hey, is this, what's really wrong here? Can you find a legal claim before you speak? Because once you put it on writing or something, then you're like tied into it. and always make the business case. You
Sydney.
said that earlier.
Yeah, I don't. I might be approaching
Yeah.
the workforce completely incorrectly because I was under the impression that bosses were supposed to badger you, and if they weren't, I would have a job. But I don't have a job because of
like you're-
bosses.
Bullying,
Yeah.
it's bad though.
That's actually a really
Well,
good point.
Bullying is bad until it gets results.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
And then it's just a technique.
See, that's what I say. You pretend you don't notice because in life, you know, the more you don't notice, the better it is.
See, you're highly employable. I'm not.
And you take a look at a guy like Steve Jobs. I mean, he bullied all of his employees, and they make some of the best products out there. So.
But no, seriously, that video that you showed was a perfect example of the bullying. Basically putting impossible results on you, saying, there was no way you could achieve that. That was bullying.
I'm sorry. That hand does
Yeah.
that. All right. So boss sets you up to fail by giving you a task to do and then says, I didn't want it that way, and then says, don't put anything in writing. I mean, real quick, one comment.
Send an email saying, this will just confirm our meeting, and unless I hear from you by this and this date, this is what I'm going to document in the log.
Yeah, I personally prefer it because I was going to fail anyway, and at least now I don't have to blame it on all the Tetris and Minesweeper that I'm playing. So.
I think this is why email invented carbon copying people, so you just keep a log to their boss about what exactly they want so they can't get away with it.
Again, I have
Beautiful.
no
We'll
job.
be right back in a moment with Pass or Fail with Gail.